Good morning, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It is 10:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, August 18th, 2021. Happy hump day for those who have to work. I know it's hard. We're almost through. Let's get into it. Not financial advice. This video is intended for educational purposes only. Click the subscribe button and the bell so that you're notified when these videos come out. I do other cryptos as well, particularly around the build out of applications, services that can be used by developers primarily. Click the thumbs up if you want folks to be aware of the greatness of Storj. I think it's important that some of these videos get up to the top of the stack when people are doing searches, not for me alone, but also to make sure that we get more people to rally around the cryptos that we think have a real future use case scenario that can be broadly adopted. Intraday updates on that Twitter link, that's in the description below the video. Share the video if you have a moment, and let's move forward. So what have I done over the past week? Well, I just bought about almost a week ago. I tweeted it out, so subscribe if you want to see when I'm entering and exiting. But $1.16 is what I bought Storj at. I only put 20% of what I want to risk on Storj into Storj. So I still have 80% in cash, waiting to figure out my next entry point. Now, it's a little hard to tell right now. So we went from $1.16, we went up, and we kind of pulled back. We're trading around 120 right now. So let's go take a look at the markets and understand that I take a look at not only the Storj US dollar, which I think we all kind of like look at on a normal day-to-day basis, particularly for those invested in dollars, as well as the Storj relative strength of Bitcoin and Bitcoin itself. These two things fundamentally drive the outcome of the dollar version of Storj. So that's why I look at them. Taking a look at Storj US dollar, we definitely had a nice rally. I mean, we were up to actually $1.45, 44. I think this is fantastic. I mean, yeah, we have a pretty big pullback, but you know what? You can't constantly go up. It's not a vertical line, and it's not a day-to-day or even a week-to-week in crypto land. This stuff takes time to evolve. In some cases, sometimes it blasts off when you least expect it. But, you know, this is still, I think we're still in a fairly bullish pattern here. There's no question about it. If I was to draw a line since the end of July, we're kind of holding on here. But again, we've got to see what happens on this side here. So, look, definitely a pullback. We're at $1.20 right now. You know, this stuff is kind of like, it's hard to say where we're going to be 1 week from now, so I wouldn't be able to tell you just by looking at this chart. Now, if I was to look at the underlying factors for Storj US dollar, which we're going to do right now, we're talking. Let's take a look at Storj relative to Bitcoin. Well, this is clearly in an absolutely beautiful pattern here. First of all, not only we are definitely obeying the trend. This is a loyal support line, which has been going on since, let me just zoom out, since back here, mid-June, almost 2 months. So what's nice about it is it's starting to appear to me that we could be potentially in a triangular shaped pattern. This is kind of a bullish looking view here. But it's hard to say exactly at this point. What I do like the most about it isn't the triangle pattern. So let me just delete that for a second. I like the fact that we're on this trend. And as I mentioned ad nauseum, trend is your friend until it's broken. And by broken, I don't mean a little peep and take a look at what's below and then come back up again. That's not a breakout. That's a fake out. So you want to make sure that you keep your eye on this and understand that if it goes below for more than a day or two, it usually means we've broken the trend. Now, taking a look at the other factor, which is Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin's actually under a little bit of pressure. Like, you know, I'm seeing something I don't like. I don't like this upward ascending wedge. I felt like we were starting to hit a loss of momentum. You know, this green line, by the way, we're going to go into that in a second, but we lost momentum. The wedge is embodied in these orange lines. We broke down past that line. It doesn't mean that we're going to just plummet here. It's not to say that. I think the next area of support is probably in the 42 range. I think that's a rough area where we start to see multiple lines of support and resistance. It acts as a barrier. So whether you're trying to go below it if you're above it, or whether you're trying to go above it if you're below it. So 42,000 seems to be the sweet spot if it does pull down further. But we're catching a bid right now. We're at 45,320. Earlier today, we were down. We were down last night at like 44, low 44s. So we have to see how this thing plays out, but we're starting to come back a little bit here. I don't expect this to be a rally back over this orange line, but if it does go up, I would expect it to go to 46.4 and then drop back down. That being said, it's not necessarily the case. Anything could happen here. Now, if we look over at the green line that I promised I would just run through real quick, this green line, by the end of the year, I still anticipate Bitcoin hitting 80,000. Now, when I say it's going to pull back, I don't mean it's going to pull back for the rest of the year. Of course I don't. I mean, it's going to pull back on a short-term basis. Look, this pattern has only been intact for almost a month, so it could go down in half the time, right? And then plow back up. So I'm expecting us to potentially catch a short-term pullback, but then on a longer-term scale with ups and downs, we would make our way up to 80,000. Again, not financial advice. So anyway, let's move into Bitcoin dominance, which I normally look at as an indicator for Bitcoin, but sadly enough, it's hard to look at this stuff when you have the Fed pumping out like trillions of dollars of cash, and everyone doesn't know what to do with their money other than to plow it into altcoins and Bitcoins and you know what coins. So everyone's doing it. So these types of patterns don't exactly make a whole lot of sense to me. However, this pattern does make sense in the sense that we went into a triangle. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. We went into this triangle. Now we're at 44.62. This number represents, if you took the total crypto market value and you added up the amount of coins multiplied by the price of each coin, and you add it all up, including Bitcoin, Bitcoin's amount of that giant pie of market value would be 44.61%, which means that if you add up all the altcoins, Ethereum included, you would have 55.5% that are market value of altcoins. So just so you know, so it kind of means that Bitcoin's a little weak and altcoins are showing exuberant strength here. And we just have to watch this play out. This is a bullish pattern. We did expect this to go down. What I didn't expect was for Bitcoin to actually continue its rise up. So that's actually still very good for altcoins, because if Bitcoin's going up, but the Bitcoin dominance is going down, that means altcoins should go up even more. Anyway, a couple of things regarding Storj, because this is what the video is primarily about. There is a webinar coming up. The CTO of Storj will be talking, and the COO will be talking about security and privacy and SLAs, which are kind of like uptime and things like that, and reliability of the network and their storage platform. I think what they're going to be talking about is around, basically fielding questions and answers around the, how it's constructed and how it's being used, but also talking about how you can, advance your applications a lot faster than using some of the traditional centralized cloud storage facilities, such as what you would see on Google, Microsoft, or Amazon. So anyway, something interesting. I'm going to paste this link. I think everyone should take a look at it. It's on August 25th, 11 a.m. Central Time. So I'll put that over there for you guys if you're interested. I think it would be definitely interesting to see. I will be, for one, watching it. Then I just want to point out there's a use case study out here. I think what most of these big companies and altcoin companies fail miserably at is to explain in layman's terms what this stuff does. Now, this actually is somewhat in layman's terms. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's good enough. I can kind of get it. I have a background in multiple disciplines. So I can kind of get it. So I think what is important here and compelling is that, what they're talking about is there's a company called Pixel Experience who's trying to utilize their storage facilities, and they're having bandwidth issues hooking into some of these centralized clouds, etc. And as you continue to scroll down, you can see there are people that actually switched over to storage to help distribute out the product and be able to use storage as an alternative, right? And not having bandwidth issues anymore just because their pipe is at a certain size between their corporate infrastructure and Google. So I think it's important for everyone to understand that this is a very good use case. I can post this link out there too. It would be good for you to take a look at it. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got. Storj now, $1.21. Hope everyone's well. Take it easy.